I have to introduce all of you guys to something very special. It's very dear to the hearts of most Canadians, from what I've gathered during my research. Allow me to introduce you to this beautiful...
I hand over the torch to you.
Okay,
You're the plane
this
boy.
beautiful machine. It is called the Aurora. Ching, there it is. Isn't that? It's like the pride of Canada. I'm serious though. Like, it's
Why?
really... I don't know, but like ask any Canadian, they all know.
I'm gonna just shut up.
Ask any Canadian, and they're like, Aurora stands for the goddess of the dawn. Okay, goddess of dawn, because it is. It's in Greek mythology or whatever. It's the goddess of dawn.
Looks like a great plane.
Yeah, look at this thing, isn't it? Beautiful. Anyway, Canadians love this thing. Okay.
Someone said, "I'm Canadian. What the fuck is this?"
Look at his high tech.
Anyway,
his high tech equipment.
What is that?
By the way, this footage is from 2007. So I'm just saying. Okay.
What was that? Fallout?
It's incredibly high tech, and what it is it's a plane. Okay. Yeah. All right, we got that part, but it's actually a very specialized plane. Okay. It's meant to be sent out on very long missions to fly around in the sea.
Okay. Wait.
Well, above the sea.
Okay.
Above the sea. And it's got lots of sensors in it, right? And it's there to detect submarines and to detect... look at that. That equipment is amazing.
Is that footage from the 60s?
No, it may as well be. But believe it or not, this plane was put into service in 1981.
Weird. That's some ancient stuff.
Anyway, it's good.
I mean, not 81. The stuff inside looks ancient.
Yeah, it is. And it is ancient. Because you know how the military works. They don't update that shit. Anyway, fact of the matter, it detects boats. It detects submarines. It can detect magnetic anomalies. It's got that weird dildo-looking thing on the back of the plane. That's a magnetic anomaly detector. So if there's a piece of metal in the water, it'll tell them.
I'm just looking at the chat. Like,
What?
Is this a one-time use plane? And then all these Canadians are getting mad because they don't like it.
Canadians love this shit. It's like the pride of the Canadian military.
They were trolling, by the way. Take a little ribbon. But it's a key feature to the story.
Yeah, and it is. In fact, it is pretty much very well loved by all Canadians.
Stop saying that.
At least Canadians that are tied to the military.
Okay.
I'd say. So anyway, it's a reconnaissance aircraft. It can also deploy torpedoes in a pinch.
Nice.
And life craft. Like it can drop a life.
Cool.
Yeah, it can do a couple things like that.
The chat is wild right now.
Okay, but anyway, so the Aurora, in all its beauty, okay, as we
I
can
love
see,
they have the Canada, like the official government logo on there.
it says Canada
like
on the side.
The tourism board too.
It actually says Canada on the side. It's got a little maple leaf flag too.
What's that shit on the back?
That's the anomaly.
Oh, that's
the magnetic anomaly detector.
That's good. That's good. Very useful.
It's got a bunch of sensors. They recently upgraded them to have cameras. You can see the camera here. The same. No, seriously, kind of recent. That's a recent upgrade. That was like in 2005 or 6. They put the same cameras that you have on a police helicopter in there.
Is this a museum?
Well, I mean, my favorite part about this is, for those of you who know anything about electronics, is that they currently, the most high-tech piece of equipment they have in here. Wait, I'm going to pause it. Can you see it down there?
What is that?
Can you see that little box thing? It looks like a CB radio.
GPS?
It is. It's a standalone GPS, which has not yet been integrated into the computer system yet. It's forthcoming.
Why is everything so
Look,
proud?
it's got a dot matrix printer up there.
Oh my gosh.
Lovely CRT monitor.
Sorry, guys.
Don't
get mad at me, guys.
Yeah.
This is outlandish to me.
I mean, it does look really, really.
This is not a museum.
No, it's not. It's fully functional aircraft. That is a
Winston put
phone.
this together, by the way.
What he's pointing out there is the most high-tech piece of equipment on the entire plane, which is a satellite phone. Okay. And that means they can keep in contact with people. All right. It's fantastic. I just thought...
North, 2642.
Well, they've got that GPS. They can actually look at the longitude and latitude now, which they couldn't do in the past. I guess they used one of those sextants, or something. Anyway. This is recent footage. This footage was taken in 2007. Now, this, on the other hand, is not a 1950s dystopian electronic package. What I'm showing you now
You definitely put this together.
Yeah, okay, what I'm showing you now is a typical AWACS
it's an
plane.
American one for NATO.
Yeah, it's a NATO plane. They actually use color monitors in there. I don't know if you can notice, but that's one of the key features is they've upgraded its color flat panels. You know, and for those of you who don't know,
actually looks real, like good.
Yeah, it looks like an office cubicle area actually, but that's massive amounts of monitoring. It can monitor like a huge area. That's what it looks like. You've seen them with a pancake on top. Anyway, let's get back to the Aurora because this beautiful machine. The reason why I'm talking about this gorgeous. By the way, it uses 4 propellers. It's got.
By the way,
engines.
slight echo. The CRTs are aesthetic. I agree with you.
Yeah, they are. They are. Anyway, the reason why I'm talking about this is that these have been deployed out of Japan. Okay, the Royal Canadian Air Force.
Yeah, good stuff.
Which I don't know if it's. Well, I guess with Trudeau, you could say Her Majesty's Royal Canadian Air Force. You know.
Why?
Well, look at him. Anyway, let's continue. So, anyway, Her Majesty's. No, anyway, the Royal Canadian Mounted Air Force thing. Okay.
You're saying he looks like a woman?
Maybe. No, he's the one who said like a she session or something.
Oh,
you know,
he's all a deep lore joke.
He's all kind of weird. Okay. Anyway, they are currently helping monitor North Korea. Okay.
Yes.
So let's get back. I'm just going to go back.
Can I explain why?
Yes, please.
Okay. So North Korea hit with sanctions. Western sanctions, right? So Canada helps. Canada does great stuff, by the way.
Yes.
In their monitoring runs and making sure that the shipping patterns have been cut off, right? So anybody sneaking stuff in and out, if North Korea is breaking sanctions and breaking international law, so Canada is actually using those very ancient planes or whatever to do real good stuff.
It's very good for anti-submarine and anti-ship monitoring.
Yeah.
And of course, while during my research on this plane, I found out that it does something very Canadian too.
What?
It goes out there and it makes sure people aren't polluting.
That's good.
Which is great.
We're kind of eco boys. Let's be honest. We get a little bit of flack from a certain part of our audience.
Exactly.
That, yeah, we love the environment.
Anyway, so the fact of the matter is, you've got these Auroras out there doing their thing, which is flying around, near Japan, monitoring the seas around North Korea to make sure that there aren't any ships going in and out that shouldn't be doing that.
As I said.
Like you said, right? That's their terser, that's their specialty. So they deployed their Auroras out there, and they're proud of them, right?
That's
fine.
I just was shocked at the tech inside.
Yeah, the pride of our Canadian military, right over here. Boom. Anyway, and they do a fantastic job for what they do. Good. But here's the thing, this is what we're actually working up to here, is that you've got these big kind of lumbering surveillance planes, yeah. Even though in my research they were saying how quick it can get in and out of areas, I doubt that.
I'm pretty sure it's slow. I mean, it was quoted in the report I was looking at this was unfair what China did because of how slow they are. Well,
of course, because what China's been doing is sending fighter jets to buzz these things.
Why? But okay, wait. They're buzzing them on their North Korea route.
Yes.
But China signed on to the pact that said that they have to cut off transport and shipments in North Korea.
Yeah, but here's the thing, is the routes they're flying are international airspace as well. They're not encroaching on North Korean airspace. They're not encroaching on Chinese airspace.
China agreed that people could surveil that. So what are they doing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Here we have a little artist's rendition over here, which you can see behind us. I'll get us out of here. This actually came from the Global News, for those of you who want to know where this rendition came from.
Canadian news outlet.
Yeah. It's Canadian, but why is it global? Shouldn't it be Canadian news or something?
Anyway. You can talk about the globe too.
True.
It's pretty multi,
Yeah. So anyway, what you can see over here behind us is the jets are flying incredibly close and buzzing these Auroras, okay?
Which is worse than intercepting.
So, yeah, I mean, first of all, they are on an intercept course, and then they just kind of buzz past. Now, they're getting so close that the pilots inside of the Auroras, the crew, can feel the turbulence, okay? Yeah. Now, first of all, this is very, very no-no when it comes to the international airspace kind of rules, the agreed-upon rules, okay? You don't do this.
Yeah.
It's incredibly dangerous to do something like this. First of all, it's intimidation, okay? It's unprofessional. And it's just a disgusting thing to do. You don't do that. No. You don't do that to allies. You don't do that to enemies. You could spark off a war doing stuff like this, okay? Now, the reason why the Canadian Air Force is so upset about this is because of how dangerous it is, obviously, right?
Yeah, of
you
course.
It's harassment.
Yeah.
You don't go and harass when you're doing something that has been internationally agreed upon, including by China. Yeah. You don't expect to be harassed.
No.
Because they are doing your patrols, just checking out for submarines and crap, and suddenly you've got fighter jets buzzing you. It's threatening, it's intimidation, and it's incredibly dangerous. You know how dangerous it is? China experiences a huge amounts of training accidents and just crashes of their fighter jets all the time. Here we can actually see behind us, this was from a couple of months ago, last year, maybe?
October last year.
I think it's a
J20,
J20, I believe.
Yeah.
Just crashed in the river, got caught on camera. Of course, the poor fisherman who shared this out got into a lot of trouble. But
actually, can I mention something? I lived near one of the biggest air bases in China, and when they would have training crashes all the time in their J20s and other planes as well, and they would never be reported, but the people would talk about it. You hear it at a restaurant or something, and then they would never be able to post about it or do anything about it because it's illegal to post, hey, we had an accident. Or to even really just like put it in groups and stuff like that to share footage.
Right.
So yeah, they get in trouble.
So now if you take a look, this is 2019, so this is what, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
If you keep an eye out kind of up near the buildings, if you see kind of just to the left of the buildings there, I guess there you can see a little accident.
By the way, no one died YouTube. No one died YouTube. I mean, we're not joking. They ejected.
Yeah.
So.
There's another training accident. Here's another one. You can hear the people talking about it.
You don't need to hear what they're saying. It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. Here's another one. Yeah. Yeah.
Some IE dialogue there about how it crashed.
Yeah. Here's another. Look, the thing is, if you look it up, this was in Rongcheng. Actually, we were there.
Oh yeah.
Not during the crash, of course. That's I think it was the Russian copy. Oh, now this one's kind of important because this was a couple of months ago. Actually, not even a couple of. It was like a month ago that this happened.
Yeah,
I'm going to show you.
It was end of April 30th, I believe.
This is very important. Okay, like you guys still watch this. This happened in Henan, right?
Yeah, this is important.
Yeah, this
I'm surprised we hadn't reported on it.
Yeah, exactly. So this is they believe a Hongdu JL-10 or an L-15.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's take a look here. What happened?
It's a trainer.
Yeah. It's China's most advanced trainer.
Yes. So some people ejected.
Yes. Yeah, so they find the pilots, right? Here's the important part. Okay, you got two pilots that ejected. On the left here, we see there's the Chinese pilot. And on the right there, strangely enough, is a foreigner. Okay?
And this is in Henan. This is central China. This is not near the Russian border.
Yeah, central China. If you listen carefully to him, he actually says, let's see, listen.
Don't do that.
Says, don't do that, because he doesn't want people to film. But he's saying it in a very thick accent.
Yes.
Now, this has been analyzed by quite a few different, U.S., obviously the U.S. military or intelligence probably took a bit of an interest in this. A lot of people have analyzed this and have come to the conclusion that it's a Russian instructor. So it turns out, although the PLAAF, the PLAF...
That's PLAAF.
Yeah, exactly. The People's Liberation Air Force.
Fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So the PLAF, all right,
The PLAF, yeah.
have been always going on about how they're self-sufficient and they don't need any external training and whatnot. But it turns out that for like over a year, it's on record that they've been receiving instruction from Russia on how to...
ginger Slavs.
Yeah, that's correct. And on how to land on a aircraft carrier and things like that. Things, obviously skills they don't have. So this is from all accounts, from all experts' opinions, is a Russian instructor.
对，外方这我主要可能负责外方侦查。目前我们跟地方老百姓正在沟通。你是中国人民解放军吗？就是这样。我们赵远。哦，中国人，中国军人。那个我们政委跟你说话，真的。哦，政委。哎，你好。我们政委。
So anyway, he's like, don't film. And he's also like, the guy asked, who is this guy? And he's like, that's my instructor. And then he shouted, oh, there's Chinese here.
Because you heard him speaking Chinese.
Yeah. Anyway, the fact of the matter is, this happened during the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. Okay, this is like a month ago, around about a month ago. So remember how China's always like, we don't take sides and what. They got Russian pilots instructing the People's Liberation Army Air Force at the same time that they're invading.
Now, the devil's advocate thing would be we spent a lot of time, especially me when I lived up there, but me and you spent a lot of time up near the Russian border in China.
Yeah.
And what we did notice that there's a lot of military installations on the border, especially in Mohe, which is the northernmost point of China. We went up there. There's a lot of guard posts, outposts, surveillance posts, all kinds of stuff. And it's almost like there's collaborative efforts all the time. Like, for example, there's this one town called Manzhouli.
Yeah.
They even hire white Russian women, police officers, to go be police officers in the street in the city. So there's a lot of cooperation.
Sure.
Right? It's military cooperation, but it's mostly border related and then cross-cultural related.
Yeah.
So it kind of stops there. If this was up in Mohe or something like this, I'd be like, okay, whatever. But this was in deep central China.
Yeah.
Deep central China. So it's very strange. It's definitely a collaborative effort.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So the reason we're showing all these crashes, by the way, and collaborations between Russia and China here is to tell you that these concerns by the Canadian Air Force in their beautiful Auroras, those concerns are legitimate. Because you can tell that there's a lack of training with all these accidents all the time.
Because they're plaffing around.
Yeah. Plaffing around. Plaff. Yeah. Plaff, eh? Something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so when they're buzzing these planes, a small margin of error could mean a mid-air collision.
Yeah.
Not only that, they could knock them off course or whatever the case because of the turbulence. All sorts of crap could go on. Also, if the Auroras try to do some kind of evasive maneuver, it might cause the pilots to do something wrong and have it's super dangerous. It's
immature.
Just
what was this about the middle finger thing?
Apparently, they fly so close that they can see the pilots, the Chinese pilots, and sometimes they're flipping them the bird. Seriously?
What is
I feel
Top
like
Gun?
exactly. I feel
Top
like
Gun in real life.
I feel like they all watched the original Top Gun and they think that's how things happen. They want to buzz something, but
buzz the enemy.
Here's the thing: why buzz the Canadian Auroras? Why?
They're laughing around.
Why do it? I mean, why film it? No, I'm just serious. It's like, why do it? It doesn't make sense. Like, you could understand if it was like a Taiwanese something and they wanted to...
If it's an enemy plane, like a Taiwanese plane would be an enemy. That's your enemy, right?
Yeah. But why are you buzzing a Canadian?
Doing international agreed upon exercises.
Yes, that you agreed to.
You signed off on.
Anyway, of course, Canada has, through diplomatic channels, has reached out to China. By the way, there have been about 60 of these incidences. 60 since Christmas.
What was Trudeau's quote? It was pretty good, actually.
60 of these things since Christmas, right? Last year. And at least half of those have been very dangerous. The other half were just like unprofessional and crap. But that's a lot. It's not like it happened once or twice, right? That's the whole point. And so this is a big story. And it needs to be talked about even more.
Yes.
So what did Trudeau say?
Oh, no, he was the one that made the public accusation. It was Trudeau accuses China of extremely troubling harassment of Canadian jets. And they said he was going to raise the issue with Beijing. So they did, right?
Mm-hmm.
They did, right?
Yeah, but there was no reply.
This is for a month, by the way. Mm-hmm. For an entire month they were doing this. This wasn't a once-off.
Oh, sure.
Right.
Between April and May.
He said, in these interactions, the PLAF aircraft did not adhere to international air safety norms. These interactions are unprofessional and or put the safety of our Royal Canadian Air Force personnel at risk. In some instances, the RCAF aircrew felt sufficiently at risk that they had to quickly modify their own flight path in order to increase separation and avoid potential collision with the intercepting aircraft.
Yeah.
That's when you get to the point where you're going to crash.
Well, think about it. You're flying there around in your Aurora, looking at your CRT that's making you blind and radiating you or whatever because it's just like ghosting around there. Okay. And the next minute you got warnings going off. There's an aircraft flying towards you at high speed. All right. And then at the last minute, they just, pass you. You don't know if they're going to actually ride into you, like fly directly kamikaze into you or something. You don't know.
They tend to do that in training.
Yeah. You don't know. So it's upsetting. It's stressful. It's bad. It's unprofessional. Yes. You don't do it. But the Chinese PLAF has been doing that to Canada. And, honestly, in most circumstances around the world, this kind of thing should be considered an act of war. Okay?
Yeah.
It really should. When you've got fighter aircraft putting other peaceful aircraft doing their job at risk, it's not okay.
It's not.
But for some reason, China always gets a free pass. So I hope this boils up into something a little better. And hopefully next time, instead of sending up some Auroras, maybe they can send up something better like an F-22.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As an escort.
Yeah. To keep everyone safe, by the way, not to instigate anything.
No. Obviously, the F-22 doesn't have the long range or whatever. No. But, send something up there. I don't care. Anything. Just to, show them that, you know what, we mean business here.
Right.
You
Let us do what you allow us to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Anyway.
So just imagine, the American Air Force or Canadian Air Force was buzzing Chinese planes.
Can you imagine that?
They've got their, knockoff Antonov or whatever those things are called flying around. You got F-16s or something, and they're Saudi Mali, that kind of thing. It'd be funny.
But
it wouldn't happen. They wouldn't accept it.
No.
Anyway, very immature move on the part of the Chinese government.
Not good. Flipping middle fingers, buzzing people.
Yeah, just don't do it.
And these poor Canadians with their 1950s monitors.
Yeah. I know.
They don't see it coming.
It's really, really bad.
Too much ghosting on the monitor. You can't even see them.
It's by the time that things come around, it's the sweep, the radar sweep,
They don't know how to hit them.
Yeah.
Poor guys.
Seriously though,
Jokes aside.
All jokes aside, it's disgusting. It's terrible what the Chinese military is doing, and let's hope there's some proper repercussions diplomatically.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah.